Hi guys, my name is Nicole. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. A few weeks ago, we had a rain that we haven't had pretty much all summer. And so I got to sleep in on a Saturday morning, which is also very unheard of. And I wanted biscuits for breakfast. So that's what I decided to do. The first thing I needed to do was go ahead and put my cast iron skillet that I was going to cook my biscuits in on the stove and melt some butter. That is the best thing you can do for the bottom of a biscuit. Once I had the butter melted in my cast iron skillet, I went ahead and killed the heat just so I didn't burn the butter. Years ago, I wanted biscuits, and I went on the hunt for the best biscuit recipe, and I had a lot of flops, but this one never failed me, other than one time I didn't get them baked thoroughly, but that's another story. Anyway, I found this on a blog, and I would like to link you to that blog, but that blog no longer exists. So we're just going to say these are called Dixie's Sky High Biscuits, and if it was your blog, how can I link to you if it doesn't work? So, the first thing you want to do is get a bowl and add 3 cups of all-purpose flour to your bowl. To your flour, you want to add 4.5 teaspoons of baking powder. Make sure it is baking powder. Do not mix up baking powder with baking soda. You will get totally different tasting biscuits. And I've been told that biscuits made with baking soda, not so good. Then you want to get the cream of tartar. You want 3/4 of a teaspoon of cream of tartar. Then we're going to add 2 tablespoons of sugar. Yes, this is my sugar that I use for my coffee, but when you only need 2 tablespoons, why get the big thing out? Just a thought. Then the last thing you want to add to this mixture is 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Now it's time to get the whisk and whisk this all together. That just incorporates all of the sugar, the flour, the baking powder, the cream of tartar, and the salt, kind of mixes it evenly throughout the mixture. Next, you want to add your cold butter. The butter needs to be cold simply because when you put that cold butter into a hot oven, it helps kind of infuse the butter through the biscuits and melts it all and kind of gives you your layers of flaky biscuit with butter. I don't know, it's just so yummy. The best thing you can do is keep it in the refrigerator as long as you can. Then you want to cut it up into small pieces, about pea size maybe, and incorporate that into your flour. You can use a biscuit cutter. I couldn't find mine that morning, so I just didn't. The other really good thing to use are your hands. You can use 2 knives and kind of cut the butter into the flour. You could use a fork, basically anything that will give you some leverage to go ahead and cut that butter into that flour mixture and basically give you coarse and crumbly mixture that are very small pieces of butter that are wrapped in that flour because that butter has been incorporated into that flour. Next, you want to add 1 egg. Mine was cold because when you're working with biscuits, you want everything to be cold. Then we're going to add in 1 cup of milk, and again, you want your milk to be cold. That kind of helps incorporate those layers and infuse that butter through the mixture. And since my daughter was watching Harry Potter that morning and I was listening to all the Harry Potter stuff from the kitchen, of course I had to use the Harry Potter Gryffindor spatula, because I mean, come on. Anyway, you want to mix the egg and the milk into your biscuit batter. Next, we're going to turn that dough batter out onto a lightly floured surface. So make sure your surface is clean and go ahead and just spread a nice little layer of flour onto your surface. Make sure that you cover your hands, get some extra out because you're going to need it. That way it helps keep the biscuits from sticking to your countertop. We're going to knead that dough, and basically that's helping to incorporate the milk into the flour and rehydrate that flour. You don't want to over mix a biscuit either. If you start to feel like that biscuit dough is sticking to your hands more than it's actually sticking to the dough, just go ahead and put more flour on your hands. And if you have too much batter on your hands and you want it off, the best way to get it off is to just cover your hands in flour and it will completely take it off. So then you want to bring it over, fold it, work it up, fold it in thirds, kind of like an envelope. Basically, you are adding in your flaky layers to that biscuit. Now we want to take that biscuit dough down to about an inch in height. You can use a rolling pin if you want, otherwise just use your hands and kind of push it out. I did get my ruler out just to see if I was there because, you know, I wanted to be precise. Then, as you can see, all those beautiful, beautiful layers of dough and butter worked into that biscuit. When you stick that biscuit cutter down into your dough, do not twist. That kind of closes off and doesn't allow them to rise as well. And go ahead and just cut out all of your biscuits. Once you get to the point where you are out of dough, that's not a big deal. Just go ahead and rework your dough into another 1-inch shape. I can't really say circle because they're not always circles. And then just continue to cut out. Your latter biscuits won't be nearly as pretty, but doesn't matter because they all eat the same. Once you get to the end, just form it into a biscuit. That one's kind of a mini biscuit. It's all good. It all eats the same. Now, I have read where people put mayonnaise on top, and that helps to brown the top of biscuits. I didn't know. I've never tried it, so I went ahead and decided to try it, and this is the mayonnaise that I had this particular day. Again, I've always heard this is really good mayonnaise. I have never tried it, so I thought I would. The other mistake that I made this day is the fact that that pan right there is a 13.5-inch cast iron. I probably should have used my 10-inch cast iron, but I didn't dig it out. I placed these in a preheated 400-degree oven. A lot of biscuit recipes call for 425. This one has always called for 400. For some reason this day, maybe because it was very humid out from the rain, it took an additional 15 minutes to get these biscuits fully baked. the biscuits come out of the oven, go ahead and spread some softened butter on the top of them because, hello, butter makes everything better, right? Remember, I started with butter in my pan, and because I had to go an additional 15 minutes, I got a little on the brown side on the bottom, but really it was just flavor. It did not taste burned, but look at those layers. Oh, and look at that steam. Those biscuits were hot.
Hot. Let's try it. So good. Alright, I have to go eat breakfast now. Bye. You see how thick that is?